Everybody, welcome to another Playful Humans podcast. I'm your host, Mike Montague, and we got a very special guest this week. It's Shaddow. He is a music artist, saxophonist, and NFT creator. We're going to talk to him about how he plays for a living and how he gets to do that through the new magic of NFTs. If you're looking to rediscover the power of play, you want to do a cool team building event or a play shop for your group, you can go to playfulhumans.com, get more information. And then, of course, as always, click like, share, send this episode to somebody that needs to hear it, and join the Playful community. Here we go.
Don't wait for tomorrow. Keep chasing the sunshine. Go out and
There you go. Shadow's good, man. I like it, especially from a musician. Good stock music there from Pink Zebra and the theme song. Shaddow, we like to start with the joke of the week. The joke of the week is brought to you by roosters. It's not fair that roosters are the only species that get to wake up screaming in the morning. I feel like we need to make that available for everybody else. Shaddow, I had to fire the guy who mows my lawn. He just didn't cut it. All right. Welcome to the podcast. Tell us a little bit about what you have going on now with your NFT project and the Shadow Riders Army, because I think it's cool and probably a lot of people haven't heard how that works or that this was an option.
Oh yeah, very, very much fun and playful. The whole NFT game is, man. So music NFTs is a new section of like the whole NFT market. And right now, man, we are like pioneering the whole space because you got a bunch of big music artists who showed up last year, 2021, like Tory Lanez, The Weeknd. There was some, I think that real famous DJ, I can't remember his name, Akoi, the dude that throws the cake in the crowd. He did some NFT. So I saw that and I was like, man, I got to get into this. And we are doing really great. I have some of my previous albums that I did previously. I just turned those into NFTs and put them on different marketplaces. So you got, for those out there who want to get into this, it's real easy. You can just go to OpenSea is a good place to start. I put mine on a different marketplace called Rarible. And it's really simple. You just upload your music, you upload your cover art, you set your price, and you hit go. You hit a button. It's called mint. You have to mint it, and you hit that button. The computer does some bloopty-blopty-bloop, some computing, and boom, your NFT is on the marketplace, and you're off to the races. If you got friends that support you, they'll buy your NFTs right there, like as soon as you announce it. So we're having a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, it's really kind of cool. I definitely have a ton of questions. I think for people that haven't heard of NFTs or anything at all, basically, it sounds for a really nerdy word called non-fungible token. But what that means is you basically get an ownership piece of the music, and you own a copy of art or images or other creations. And it's one of those new blockchain things where it's secure. It creates ownership of digital goods like you would if you bought a painting or like the masters of a recording, right? But the cool part about this, I think, really for me, and I don't know if you share the same view, Shaddow, is that it's really about crowdsourcing and getting right to the artists and being part of their community rather than going through record labels or other, sites where you're kind of owning a piece of, or you get access to something rather than the direct link connection to the person who created it. Is that fair?
Absolutely. So, as you know, like with the record business, everybody knows about the record industry, the record business. You got the fans right here. You got the music artists right here. And all this in the middle is record label, radio station, publisher, da 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 da, manager, da 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 da. And all these guys in the middle they have their own little gates that you got to break through as a fan. You got to break through this gate. You got to break through that gate. You got to break through that gate. And you finally get over here to the artist. But with NFTs, all you need is some cryptocurrency. You pay the cryptocurrency for the art. Boom, you get the art, and you get direct access to the artist. You like all that middleman stuff. We don't like that. We knock all that out. We get that out of here. We don't want none of that. So we want direct to fan, and we can do that with cryptocurrency. And if you got a cryptocurrency like Ethereum or even now Bitcoin, you can put NFTs on Bitcoin blockchain. If you have Tezos is a really good one. Solana, and these cryptocurrencies are like the lifeblood of the NFT. So in order to make the whole transaction work, you just trade the cryptocurrency. So if you're a fan, you go get you a big old boat full of Ethereum or whatever cryptocurrency you like, and you give some of that to the artist. The artist is happy because now he can take that same cryptocurrency and go buy some groceries with it. He can actually pay his rent with it. He could actually pay for his quality of life with that cryptocurrency. And guess what? It's direct. So as soon as the fan shoots it his way, he gets it immediately. There's no middleman in the middle to say, hey, let me get a cut of that. Let me get a cut of that. Now, there are what's called transaction fees and gas fees. And that's the smart contract that the blockchain created, taking out a small portion of the transaction so that it can continue to live and breathe. So that's it. And, depending on which blockchain that you're on, like a gas fee can be like a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a penny. So you won't even feel it.
Yeah, I think that's so cool. I know when new stuff comes out, there's always people that are worried about it, especially the older you are. I think the more you start to question these things. But it's kind of like when we all first started online shopping and people are like, oh, how secure could that be? And it's it's actually more secure than walking around with cash in your pocket, right? That somebody could take. And crypto for me is like the next version of that. It's even more secure than online transactions. They can be anonymous and it's all verified through multiple computers and sources. And so even though it feels weird, it's actually a way safer, method of doing this than anything we've ever had previously.
Yeah, it does feel weird. There's a growing process, a learning process, but once you get it, man, it's not that hard. Like once you get set up, I tell everybody, like, if you got Google Chrome, if you got the Google Chrome browser, it's so easy to just download a Temple wallet. You go to the Chrome store and get the Temple wallet and just add it to your Chrome browser as an extension. And there's your wallet.
Cool.
And once
that easy, and then you got it all linked up. You can just trade and do and buy things like you would normally. But I want to roll back for the purposes of this show and Playful Humans and talk about what this really means for you as an artist. Now, you've had a ton of success playing the saxophone in huge groups internationally and having your own songs go. But I'm wondering for you, I think what people miss a lot of times is what I call the middle class of creators. What this allows is somebody to actually make a living and keep doing their art or their playful career or music or whatever it happens to be. If you're a public speaker or a YouTube creator, when we create these relationships and these communities that are direct with the fans, you don't have to be Tom Cruise, you don't have to be Michael Jackson or The Weeknd to make money now because you're cutting out all of those middlemen. You really need like a tenth of the audience that you needed before and a tenth of the reach, which means it can be really intimate for the fans, but it also means a whole lot more people can make a living and continue to just survive as an artist without having to pay all of these other people. How do you think about that as it evolves your career?
Oh man, it's absolutely true. So let me break this down to you. There's I forget who the author of this book was, but he talks about all you need is a 1,000 true fans. No
Yeah.
matter
Kevin
what,
Kelly. Yeah.
no matter what it is you do, right? No matter what, you could be a professional cupcake maker. You're making cupcakes, right? So, okay, so let's take cupcakes because music, everybody understands music. Let's say you got a special cupcake and, you know, let's say you sell like one cupcake is $5, so $5 divided by let's see, like if I take $100 and divide it by 5, that's 20. So you sell 20 cupcakes, and let's say you sell 20 cupcakes to 100 people a month. Let's say just so that's 1,000 people a month. That's what we said, 1,000. So
Yeah.
that's that's what is that? $100 a month. That's like per 1,000 people. That's $100,000 in a year. So you got 12 months to sell 20 cupcakes to 1,000 people.
Right.
And you made $100,000 a year. That's 6 figures. And all you did was focus on those 1,000 people. Now, they love your cupcakes, right? So your brand, y'all got a cupcake t-shirt like I got. It's not cupcakes, but it's my fan club t-shirt. And I said they love the cupcakes so much they want to go buy some merchandise from you. So you buy them you know, you put out this t-shirt and you say these t-shirts are going for $20. 20 times 1,000, that's $20,000. So now you up $120,000 for the year. That's above 6 figures. And let's not stop there because every independent creator out here in this creator economy, we don't just focus on one or two streams of income. You got your let's say you do a podcast, right? So you getting revenue off of your podcast. Boom, there go another stream. Let's say you got a YouTube channel, right? And you got those 1,000 people on your YouTube channel subscribe and they watch all your videos. And let's say they put you way past 1 million views a month, right? Or let's be conservative, 100,000 views or something like that. That's for a cupcake niche, maybe that's $2,000 a month just off your YouTube channel. Let's say you got another avenue. So now they're watching your YouTube channel, they buying your t-shirts, they buying your cupcakes, they listen to your podcast. And let's say you got like some of them, they want to learn how to make cupcakes like you. So you got a cupcake course.
Yeah.
And you put the course on Patreon or Skillshare or Udemy. So as you can see, this easily add up to a whole bunch of money just by having 1,000 true fans. So, and building a strong community. So like that equals into having like a good email list. And for music artists, like it takes stuff like having a little social media hub for all your fans to gather together. I use Discord. Discord. It's a good way to pull everybody off of Facebook and social media and put them in a private place that's only for them. I use Discord. Email lists seem to not really work good for music artists, so I use Discord. But a cupcake guy, email list will work, or you want to do Discord. So yeah, it's all about focusing on the first 1,000 people and focusing on building a strong community, and boom, you good. You good.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. I use Mighty Networks for our community at Playful Humans. You can just go to playfulhumans.com, click on the club if you want to check out how that one works. Also, if you want to check out Shaddows, go to shadowmusic.com and you can find out all the links and other stuff that he's got going on there. Now, I wanted to ask you a little bit here about the career too. So I love all the stuff that you just talked about. That's really on this show, what I'm trying to inspire other people to do is like find a way to live your dream and have fun doing what you love to do. And that could take a lot of different forms. So as I mentioned earlier, you've done this a lot in your career. Tell me how it started for you. Did you ever, go get a day job and work in a cubicle and then have to fight your way out? Or did you fall in love with the saxophone and be able to make that a career from the beginning? What were those early steps of becoming an artist like for you?
Man, I would say really rough. So in the beginning, I'll go all the way back to college when I was out there in the world. So yeah, I had day jobs. I was working the job. I had to pay my rent, and I was trying to pay off college loans and stuff. And I was still going to college and still trying to practice and take my music courses. And it was tough. And there was a point where I had lost. It all started with my car broke down. My car broke down. I lost my girlfriend. My dog died. And I lost my job. And then I got evicted from my apartment. And then what happened after that? Somebody told me about the Army, right?
Oh wow!
And do they have a music program? And somebody said, yeah, they got a music program. You can play for the Army band, but you got to try out. And so before my saxophone got repossessed, because I was making payments on that one, current. Man. And my girlfriend's parents helped me get it. So I used that to try out, and I made the tryout, but then I had to go do basic training and do a preliminary period of doing like infantry as, military. Then I went on to start a career being in the Army, playing for the U.S. Army band. So I made a
cool,
career.
Man.
So that was my career, playing for the U.S. Army band for a good chunk of time. I served in the military for 8 years doing that. Now, there were some benefits to that. And this is a good story about sticking to what your dreams are.
Yeah.
Because I was overseas with them, during my off time, when I wasn't working for Uncle Sam and playing for the band, they helped me get my own horn, where I didn't have to, ask somebody. I had my own saxophone. So I would go out to the economy, to the cities that we were in, like Korea. I'd go out into Korea and find gigs and go jam with other musicians in that country. And I landed some really good gigs. I got to record with major, label recording artists in Korea, worked for Korean radio, lots of opportunities, because, that main job playing for the U.S. Army put me in a position to build my personal brand even more as a musician. And that led into me building up my artist brand, which is Shaddow, right? So, but it was rough. Half of the time, go be a soldier. I had to go be a soldier half of the time. But I really believed it in myself and in my dreams, and so I did it.
Well, I love that story, and I relate to it a lot with my career too. When I was in radio, I was so broke that I got arrested for being broke. If you've ever been that broke, that sucks, right? So I didn't have the money to pay for my property taxes, which means I couldn't get my car tags renewed in Missouri. And once the car tags are over a year expired, you get arrested for that, which really helps you make more money to pay for those bills when you can't work on a weekend. So luckily I had some family and friends to help me out and get me out of there. But it reminds you, it reminded me of all those stories. Like I had one of those really bad semesters in college too, that's where you get confidence. When you know that you can survive through all of that stuff, it gives you the guts of now, like, as an older adult being like, well, hey, if something happens or I lose this gig or this podcast doesn't go well, like, so what? It's not going to be as bad as being broken. I had a lot of fun through those times too. I'm like you, I did a lot of free concerts and had a lot of fun, met a lot of cool people, and threw a party with the power turned off at candlelight in my apartment and stuff, and that's just part of for me figuring it out. But I love the message in your story of finding ways to do what you love. Some days you don't get to do it as much. Other days you get a really cool opportunity. And I think sometimes people judge their success by whether they became famous or whether they're a full-time musician or artist. And I would love to hear your thoughts on how you define success here, because for me, as long as you get to keep doing it and you get to play some every week, that's success, even if it's just a hobby, you know, for you, especially at certain times. There are going to be times where you need to make money, and there's going to be times where you're crushing it as an artist. How do you feel about that?
Simple, bro. Success to me is setting a goal and accomplishing that goal. That's it. I set a goal, I'm going to make one song a year. If I hit that goal, I'm a success. I set a goal, I'm going to play a live show for one fan or 10 fans this month. If I hit that goal, I'm a success. I set a goal, I'm going to make $1 in a month off of music that I wrote. I hit that goal, I'm a success. You can't be tied up on what other people think success is. Once you look down in the deep parts of your own heart, and if that's all right with you, success could eat, you know, I'm gonna make me a goddamn bologna sandwich today and eat that bologna. I'm a success. I got my bologna sandwich. So hey, man.
I love what you're saying there. And for me, it's a lot of times on the creation side. Like I can't control whether anybody listens to this podcast or not. I can control whether I make one, whether I hit record, whether I have a good time with you, and whether I hit publish or not. You know, I mean, those things are within my control. So for me, I'm a success if I got to do what I love. I got to perform behind a microphone today, then that's a win. Whether anybody else listened, liked it, or viewed it, or I made any money off of it, that's all stuff that happens over time and that's outside of my control. You know, I just got to keep making and creating is the way I look at it.
Yeah, and you see that, like what you said there, you can control it. And see, well, what people don't get, man, is like all these small successes that we're talking about right now, they add up. They add up. And what it's doing for your subconscious mind, for your spirit, for your brain, for your self-determination, your self-esteem, it's building that. And to the outside world, they're looking at you like, what this guy doing? I'm doing what I love, motherfucker. What you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, that confidence of me saying, hey, I'm doing what I love, that comes from all the little small successes. Them joints, they build up over time. They build up. You know what I'm saying? And then before you know it, all them times that you said, hey, you know what? I love doing this podcast. I can control the fact that I got another one in the can. I hit record. I got this motherfucker done. It's out there. Multiply that times 1,000 podcasts. The people come across Apple Music and say, God damn, just Mike Montague got all these goddamn podcasts. He must be very important. He must be super special. He's a badass podcaster. You know how I know? Because he got all these goddamn podcasts out here. He got all these goddamn reviews out here. He got all these goddamn streaming services out here. You know, with his podcast. Man, all these people know he exists. But that started with that first podcast that you did and said, you know what? I'm going to do this because I love it.
You're 100% right. And I think what people also miss is one of my podcasts has gotten to over 2.5 million downloads, and you don't get that many downloads. What you do, my first podcast, you know, got like 10 downloads. It was my mom and her friends and, you know, the other people listening to that. And so like, I think that's what people miss is that connection, and that time between no fans and those 1,000 true fans is not really as long as you think. It may be 5 or 10 years, but 5 or 10 years of working on what you love and building up a fan base is actually not that long. You can waste 10 years in a job you don't like. So, you know, by the time you get to even, you know, 40 years old, which is about where I am, that's only a quarter of your life. And then if you build up those fans, you get to do what you love for the rest of your life. So now I get, 20, 40, 60 years of doing what I love for people who like it as true fans, just because I put in that hard work of starting with zero. And I love that about your story too.
Yeah, it adds up, bro. It adds up. And even if you can't leave your job 100% right away, just take out a little time and do what you love over here for 4 hours, and just focus on that for a month. And then next month, increase it. Do what you love for 5 hours. Ask your boss, hey, can I take a extra hour off on the back end? Boom. Now, after doing it do what you love for 5 hours on top of your 8 hours, you start making money. And you start, let's say, making enough money to take care of your internet bill. And then, the next month, you can't get no more than 5 hours in, do it for a second month. Now you can pay your gas bill. And then you do it for 6 months and you hit a spike. And now you can pay your phone bill, your electric bill, and some of your rent. Oh shit, now, okay. I'm getting close. I can quit this job over here. Let me ask the boss if I can get like 2 weeks off in the middle of the year instead of at the end of the year. Hey boss, can I get 2 weeks off? And let's say during them 2 weeks off, you go ham. You do let's say you record, let's say if you're a podcast guy, you do a podcast. Let's say every day you record 3 podcasts for a week. Maybe take the week off. So 5 days, so that's 10 days of recording 3 podcasts a day. So 3 times 10.
Yeah, you got like 30 days. You got like 3 months or 3 years worth of podcasts all put together there in just a week.
2 weeks. And then set up like a, the scheduler, and just have them preloaded. And then when you go back to work, you have a big ass smile on your face. I got 3 years of podcasts, and I could drop 3 a day, or three every. I could double up, and people not gonna know. And let's say you do that now, and the podcast be like, fans out the door. Now you can you make 2 times what you get paid at your job. Now it's time to quit. You out of there.
Yeah. I love it, man. I think that's exactly it. And the cool thing for me, a lot of people don't realize that it doesn't take that much work. You can do things part-time. And when you use those schedulers and when you spread out your bandwidth and you plan ahead a little bit, you can really have a lot of fun without having the stress of like a day job of like, oh my gosh, I have to have this podcast done by Friday because I'm done for the next 3 months. So I'm coasting here. I'm having fun. I'm doing it when I want to do it. And it really works out that way. I have 2 more questions for you about your career, and then we'll play a game and have some fun here.
Right.
First one is, what's the most fun for you in your career? Was there a dream gig or recording session that was just magic? Like, what was the epitome of like, man, if I could bottle this and do this every day, this is what I love to do?
Oh man. So you remember I told you about career, right? So I played in a stadium with this band called Windy City, and it was one of those big like Coachella music type.
Cool. Yeah.
And I was so fucking jaded. I was so scared. This was a huge ass stage. I had never been on a stage this big in my whole life. And we did the sound check, and those big Aerosmith concerts where each band member has like a whole section of stage to themselves and they're all spread out. That's how they set us up on stage. So I got this big monitor sitting in front of me. Looks like a big cabinet sitting in front of me. That's my monitor. And I got this my own little section right here where I can play. Got the microphone I want. And I look way over there. I swear it's like a mile over there is the guitar player. And a mile over there is the bass player. And then the keyboard player's right back there. And the drummer's behind me. And this big jumbotron behind us. This is a Korean band and we're friends. And they had trusted me so much. They said, you're a part of us now. We don't care that you work with the Army band sometimes. We'll make it work. Bro, we got the rock star treatment backstage. Backstage, it was all these other legendary bands. We're just kicking it with them. I was jaded off of that. The food,
yeah,
like military food at the on base. or go into the corner shop at the little mom and pop street vendor where I stationed at. So we had this big stadium in downtown Seoul, and when it was showtime, because we rehearsed, it was nobody in the seats, and you look out there, man, it's like damn, this
It
is
takes your breath away a little bit, doesn't it?
man. Oh, the show we went out to show, we stepped on the stage, they started screaming, like, and it was like this wall of energy just woof. And I was like, I had stage fright. I had been playing all this time. I was like, oh shit, this is a lot of people.
That happened to me the first time that I played in a big crowd like that. It was like 10,000 people at a big concert stadium, and I was DJing, playing music before Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. And that just sea of people, the first time I took a breath to say something, I was like, I'm gonna have to wait another beat. I gotta do this again. I gotta get ready for this and bring the energy like coming your way. Usually when you're a performer, I think that's what it is. Like the energy you're putting out is bigger than the audience's because you're trying to pump them up and you know, give your energy to them. But when the crowd gets that big, the energy coming to you is so overwhelming. You feel like you can't match it. You can't give more than that energy. And it's a really weird, different feeling. That's so cool.
Yes, man. And then like after we got done, like there was this part, MTV Korea was there. They had it all programmed. So we went outside. It was still daytime, and they had this little gate. You walk through the gate, and all these cameras like this. And I was like, I told Kim Jong, the leader of the band, I said, man, I'm not officially a part of y'all. I don't feel right going out there, bro. Like, he was like, bro, stop bullshit. You're a part of us. Come out here. You gonna do the interview with us. Man, my ass did not know a lick of Korean. I knew like maybe one or two words. I know 안녕하세요, 감사합니다, which means thank you. 감사합니다, 감사합니다. I was just saying that shit.
That's so awesome. That's great.
I felt like I felt self-conscious. I was like, damn, this is, and they.
Hey, you did it. You made it to the end. But don't worry, there are plenty of more videos where that came from. Just click subscribe to Playful Humans to get notified about our future videos. Now, what are you still doing here? Go play.